Hello, hello. We have our panel discussion. Topic of our panel discussion today is leadership that inspires. How bold leaders create powerful impact. Yes, all about leadership. And we will discuss some questions and we will bring our perspectives to this topic. Leadership, of course, it is very deep topic, and we can discuss this from different countries, yes, different background, and bring the best what we know and what we experienced and learned from our lives. Before we start, I wanted to remember, yes, and remind the mission of the Circle of Fame, why we are here today and why we meet at these panel discussions, because we unite visionaries and inspire growth. In these panel discussions, we bring the experts who can share their vision, their mission, and experience. And of course, everybody comes with passion, with heart. And we really enjoy these panel discussions. And it is like a family. Yes, we live in different countries, but we are united with the same mission, vision, and spirit. Yes, to be ourselves, to be aligned with our goals, and also help other people to awaken and find who they meant to be, and how we all become great leaders for ourselves first, to lead ourselves, and of course to lead our families, and also lead other people who looking for people like us who want to find their mission and purpose in life. And that is why these panel discussions are so important. And before we start discussing this topic, I would like you to introduce yourself, just 1 minute, briefly tell us about you, and we will move to the main part of our discussion. Who wants to start? Who want to start? Let's start today from Suzette, because Suzette is our guest, and it would be good to hear from Suzette and yeah, your background and what you're passionate about.
Sure. So I'm joining this call. I think someone was mentioning authoring a book and that's for your advantage. Well, that's what I did. My career has been finance and economics. I'm a in my career, I was a business innovator and a financial analyst. And I live in Henderson, Nevada, which is like Las Vegas, Nevada. So I'm in the US and I grew up here. But anyway, I wrote a book called Math Hack Secrets, and that's when I was talking to Elena about. It's about financial literacy. It's basically your very basic knowledge to start saving a lot of money on everyday purchases and large purchases and that type of thing. And I wrote this book because of the need that people just really weren't financially literate. And many students graduated from high school and college and they still didn't know the basics, and so they weren't able to keep more of their money. So that's why I did that. But I retired from local government. Now I do commercial and residential real estate, and I'm building a speaking career. So I'm doing some free speeches at libraries and doing workshops, and then I just landed a 2-day continuing education seminar with the school administrators in the Clark County. So it's a Southern and Northern Nevada school. So I'm going to be able to teach them about this financial literacy so they can teach their children, the children in the school. So anyway, there's a lot more, but I didn't want to take the whole time, but that's kind of where my thrust is right now.
Yeah, thank you so much, and welcome to the Circle of Fame. Because it is so important what you do. Financial literacy, it should be taught, yes, starting from kindergartens, yes. And now you are helping people living in your youth, living in your country. Great. So let's then move to Dominykas. Dominykas also today's first day in our panel discussion. So Dominykas, tell us about yourself. What you're passionate about.
So, hi, I'm Dominykas Vangelis, as an international speaker, certified dreamer life coach, as well as a video game developer. thus, I'm building on the two careers in parallel. Being a video game developer and a life coach. Transitioning from my work as a data analyst, since you know through my dream of vocation, I believe in co-creating an ideal world that's great for every one of us to live in, and those inspire me enough to keep serving them with action.
Yeah, thank you, Dominykas. Yes, Dominykas is the youngest member of Circle of Fame and really inspires me. I like this idea creating ideal world. Yes, this is people who create ideal world. Yes, not politicians, but people like we who step out, who come together, who share and inspire the world and help people to bring their best and believe in themselves that they can do that. And you are such a great example for that. Okay, so let's ask the Daniel.
Okay, so I'm Daniel Kobryner. I'm a mental fitness coach, international speaker, and the host of a podcast called Redesign Your Life Today. I'm helping entrepreneurs and business professionals to uncover the hidden saboteurs. These are the inner critics, the voices and fears that create stress, procrastination, and self-doubt. And my mission is to help them shift into the sage mode. It's the part of the brain which is going to bring clarity, creativity, confidence, and joy into their lives.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is so important. Yes, so important to help people to be in sage, productive mode. Yes, instead of just being drained by saboteurs, which everybody has different saboteurs, and it is so good to have you part of our community. Vangelis.
Yes, my name is Vangelis. I am currently in Costa Rica, and I have been in the technology world, and currently I'm working with companies to help them integrate artificial intelligence into their companies to not get rid of people, but to help people become more efficient and effective in their jobs.
Thank you so much. Great to have you here with us. And we have also Alan.
Hi, Elena. Hi, everybody. I'm in Hampshire in the UK. I'm not at the Golden Gate Bridge behind me. That's just a backdrop. My company, Alpus Group, was founded in Slovenia in the European Union in 2015, and we carry out transformation of property value. So what does that mean? It means we take relatively low value commercial property that could be unused, like an empty office, and we'll convert it into high quality residential, or it could be an empty shop or upper parts of the shop, any existing buildings that can be repurposed and thereby create wealth and create profit. We solve problems for property owners, and we create great returns for property investors. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And we move to our first segment of panel discussion, and we will discuss defining bold leadership. And there will be a few questions.
Christine hasn't.
Oh,
Christine.
sorry. Yes, Christine. Yes, Christine. Yes, Christine is a very important member of our community. How I could miss you.
Thanks, Elena. Yeah, well, you know how there are quite a lot of people these days who are struggling with their energy and their mental clarity or concentration. And these people are usually stressed and overworked. And that's not very good for the organisation they work for, the business they're working in. And so what I do is I help these people heal and re-energize through my services as a mindset, nutrition and systems coach. And what that means is that these people are then more effective in their life and the work that they do, and then they contribute more to their or they're in a better place to contribute to their families and to their work situation and to their own life. And so they're a whole lot happier.
Thank you so much, Christine. And now we move to our main part of panel discussion. First segment is defining bold leadership, and we will have 3 questions. And I invite you to participate, and we have 2 minutes for answer. And the first question is, what does bold, inspiring leadership mean to you personally? Who would like to start? Alan.
Hi, Elena. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to work for and with some very inspirational leaders. And essentially, in the world that I inhabit, that of construction, it's essentially a world of managing risk. And there's one guy who comes to mind when I think of massive risk on a massive scale, and it's a guy called John Anderson. And why is his name remarkable? It's because he took what was an empty, derelict site of a few acres in West London, and he created very high-value residential properties out of this small site. So it was a multiple level. Quite varied design and quite an inspirational development. So even that doesn't really explain his leadership, because what he did was he carried out the work on the basis of construction management. So what this means is that you can actually overlap the design and the construction work quite significantly, which shortens the timescale for the project. So what he did was he simplified all the designs and he made them easy to construct. He got the best advice from all around the world to actually achieve this, and he made Chelsea Harbour Scheme the biggest project in Europe, and it was also the fastest moving project in Europe. Now, that doesn't say enough about what he did, because he also enabled people who were buying properties in this development to actually choose their own layouts. So if you can imagine hundreds of dwellings, like flats mainly, but some houses within this development, and each person has the ability to choose their own layout. So each unit, each flat or house has to be individually designed and then individually fitted out. So usually with mass housing developments, you have standard designs and you progress from basically left to right, but for example, on a progressive design and construction implementation. But this chap had the vision to see that he could achieve much higher values by giving people the choice to have their own layouts. And so he took the brave step to actually make that offer to them and enable them to choose their layout. So they got a high value flat or house out of it. He got a lot of headaches because all of these individual flats and houses were then bespoke, and they had their own design issues, their own construction issues. And I can tell you from having been there, the waste on the project was massive, but he had the drive and the imagination to follow through and achieve what was, by anyone's standards, a remarkable achievement, to turn this relatively low value wasteland into very high value residential property in West London. Is quite remarkable.
Yeah, so what I see, you say here that making bold decisions from the vision, which is like breaking paradigms. Yes, like everybody would say like you're crazy, what you're doing. Like
Yes, people said that. You're mad. You're offering people choices individually. How are you going to do that?
yes, and it is really very interesting how he put people choices, yes, and giving them what they really want, because house is so important for everybody. And he gave these people opportunity to design
Yes.
their really house which they wanted.
Yes.
Very unique, yes, and
Yes. Yes.
really like what is like for me resonated, that this is leadership when you put
Yes.
people first. Yes, when you
Yeah.
don't put the houses or paradigms how it should be or structures, you put people first, and even
Yes.
if you don't make so much money, but you make so many people happy having their houses as they wanted. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes,
It was very great.
you got it there. Yes, you got
Yeah,
it.
great example. Yes, this is what we're all about. Yes, put people first, and it is good to see how people do it. And yes, and all comes with big vision, because this is what leadership means. That you see something and nobody see it, and you are only one who see it, and you have to be bold, and you have to be also strong, because everybody will tell you you are crazy, but when you
Yes, yes.
and when they say, "Oh, you did a good job," yes, but
Yes, and especially when all the costs were going up dramatically before the money started to come in, and he was under extreme pressure, but his vision was right.
yeah, very interesting. Thank you so much, Christine.
The person that I see as being a bold and inspiring leader is Olivia Newton-John. And the reason for that is because she suffered breast cancer, and that was all very public. So she came out and announced that herself, because she thought if she didn't, the media would possibly mess it up, and say something that wasn't really true or something upsetting. So she came out and said to everyone, yes, I've got breast cancer and I'm going to beat this. And so that was a bold move. And also another bold move that she did was she put her name to a wellness and cancer center, with not cancer and wellness and cancer, and it had to be in that order if she was putting her name to it. So she attached this center to a mainstream hospital. So it was part of the hospital. And that is a really big move, because she had a lot of alternative therapies and treatments available to people. Like people came and played music there. People, they had massage, art, all sorts of different therapies to try and distract people from the fact that they had this insidious disease, so that it actually helped their mindset. She had a really great vision, this woman, and she did a lot of work in the community, and she actually went to events with ordinary people, spoke to ordinary people, and she stayed very grounded and down to earth and very relatable. And she was a really great entertainer. So she was very versatile. And I find that very inspiring, uplifting, because there were so many aspects to her. So she also promoted well-being, wellness, nutrition, and she was into the environment as well. So she was a big influence. She had millions of fans around the world. So I find her very inspiring and quite bold to have done the things that she's done.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Daniel.
I will go on the same path, as both Alan and Christine before me. But it's really first thing which comes to mind. It's about courage. A bold leader has courage, and has courage. It means they have values, and they are authentic. They are themselves. And again, what other things to say doesn't matter. When they go from their heart, and they show vulnerability. This is a first sign. Another very important aspect is that a good leader is somebody who really cares for the others. Actually, it's not about us. It's about how we embark others on our vision, how we make other people successful. It's really about uplifting. It's about creating a spirit where people will really want to resonate with you. And another point is very important is humility. It's to be very humble. It means to listen to other people's opinion and to be willing, to change your mind. And it's as well afterwards having the courage to take action. And sometimes it's difficult, but when you take action with intention, and when people working with you, they know that you will be there always with them, supporting them. This is for me bold leadership.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, great. Vangelis.
I would do these workshops where we would have role playing, and there would be the salespeople that would be in the process of learning how to have a conversation with their customers. And I noticed that the more certain, the certainty that they had of what they knew, the more the boldness would come out. Because if they weren't really sure about their products or their services, it was difficult for them to really, if they weren't even inspired, how to inspire someone else. So I noticed that the more you helped people to become sure and certain of what they were doing and of what they knew, and figure out maybe if they needed to do some more studying or something, the boldness would come out. And then that would also quieten the noise. And then the inspiration was able to be recognized and heard. So to me, the boldness is increasing that certainty. And then the inspiration is there once I can work with and reduce that noise that keeps distracting people.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we are moving now to the next question. Can you share a moment when stepping up as a leader transformed your team or business? Can you share a moment from your life when stepping up as a leader transformed your team or business? Yes, Suzette.
So one of my jobs as a government employee, and this is really an unusual job. Basically, I was a business innovator. So my job was to think outside the box and find ways to cut costs and increase revenue. And one of the big things is, innovation and support is to have the support of your supervisors and your managers. But for me, I had to convince everyone to change the way they were doing business. And in government, that's very difficult to do because everybody likes the status quo, everything every day. So the bold attempt to make changes in an environment that resisted changes was challenging but good. And I had the great support of the management to do so.
Yeah,
So I
thank
think I answered your question. What I want to have a restate your question.
Yes. So question is, can you share a moment when stepping up as a leader transformed your team or business?
Yeah, I worked for the city of Las Vegas, and there was a supervisor, a financial analyst supervisor, and he went out for back surgery, and so they put me in charge. And I had to motivate everyone to do scanning and other things because we were moving. And that was a great experience for me because I was able to help them grow their skill set and work with them. And it was just really rewarding to do that. And I had them actually motivated to do something that they wouldn't want to do before. So it was great.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yes, and Christine?
Yeah, just briefly, there was a role that I gained, and I was thrown in at the deep end. When I arrived at this place, it was chaotic. And so not only was I helping to put out fires that were rising up regularly, I also had to find the time to sort out what was happening and why it was like that. And it ended up being very simple procedures to put in place. But I mean, I had to do the the O&M and the trail of jobs and who handled what. And when I had all that plan put together, I was able to identify the bottlenecks or the places where things fell through the cracks. And it only required a couple of simple procedures. And, you know, leadership doesn't have to be complicated or anything like that. And it's just staying calm and, you know, allowing yourself to be able to reason through and work through the problem. So in the end, I was very happy to say that the business became proactive rather than reactive, just from those simple changes. And of course, I got the people who were working in the office on side, and they were very happy to make those changes. Yeah. So it's including people as well in that process.
Initially people don't want any change, yes, like Suzette said, like, especially for companies or government. Which change are you speaking about? Everybody just accept as a rule. Yes, there is a paradigms in every society. Every company has their culture. It is our culture. This is how we do things. Yes, and then you come and you say, "I want to change." So everybody look at who you
No,
are.
we don't want to change it.
Everybody want change, but nobody want to change. Yes, and the big
That's right.
contradiction starts. Yeah, great. So, Dominykas.
Well, my example, however modest, it might seem on the surface, it's still, I believe, f for our, game development team, with meaning one of the things that we're pursuing, also, I believe, was significant in the sense that, figured that since we're, several individuals from across the world, we're working towards is a common project, a video game. Figuring we might as well take the time weekly to simply connect as people, get to know one another even better, and thus maintain the bonds even more reliably, and thus how we translate that into practices is simply to have weekly calls just for that, in essence, to talk about anything that comes to mind. Sometimes personal things are preferences in video games, etc. And that's certainly with our artist, I've noticed this to have been you know a very effective means in terms of bonding together, as colleagues as people.
Yeah, great. Yes, great. Don't just look at people at work. Yes, that as robots just speak about work, everything just about work, but really see who is behind that. Who are they at their life, and what kind of people, what are their inspirations? This is what makes teams really working better. Yes, with achieving goals when we connected and when we know each other better. Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Alan.
Hi, Elena. Yes, I'd just like to give an example as an illustration of when you have to step up as a leader. This involved a cofferdam, which was a single sheet wall about, let's say, 6 meters high, which was intended to keep back the Caspian Sea. Now, the Caspian Sea is a tidal sea, and it's also the location where it was subject to high winds. So, in fact, the high winds whip up the waves, and you can get a lot of forces, structural forces against a steel wall like that. So my challenge to the designer, who was an internationally famous structural designer from Japan, was that this wasn't the correct design, that the steel sheet wall would collapse. And can you imagine if we had hundreds of people working inside the caisson wall and plants and machinery and everything, and this wall collapsed? So I'm not a qualified structural engineer, but I knew that I had to change this design because the engineer would not acknowledge that he hadn't taken account of the wave forces and the wind forces on this steel wall. He'd taken account of a calm sea, but he had to save face because he was Japanese and he didn't want to lose face, and we had to put in a safe installation. So my solution was to actually put in two walls and put a road in between the two walls. So we allowed him to save face by changing the design for the convenience of our construction method. But we just knew that we couldn't install this steel sheet wall as designed. It was just totally unsafe. And then if we had installed it as he had suggested was adequate, we would have been criticized when there was any loss of life or loss of capital assets, mainly the loss of life. So yeah, it was a moment when I had to stand up and be counted and disagree with this highly qualified structural engineer. But in the end, it was the best thing for our team, who were the ones who had to live with the consequences of that decision.
Yeah, great.
Mm.
Yes, because of course, when it comes like what you choose to lose face for people's lives, so
Yes, exactly. Yes,
yeah,
yes. Mm.
it is of course people's lives are more important. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
There were cultural considerations. That was interesting as well.
Yes, that's right. Exactly, Christine.
Yes, and Daniel for this question, and we will move forward.
So, so it's a great question, Elena. So a personal example, I mean, when I arrived in this country, I came here to run a small company there. And the the first thing I did is it's really, of course, asking everybody for in each area, what what are the best things to do? I mean, because things don't come from the top to the bottom, but people in particular roles. When you ask them, all of a sudden, but when you ask them really with the view of listening to them, of taking on their ideas, of course, it's got to be within a frame. This is how people kind of open up, because very often they are told what to do. But when you ask them, and then when you empower people to do the things they really want to do, this is where the energy rises. And I've seen this a different level. And just to give one example, there was this gentleman, he was in charge of the warehouse. And I asked him a few questions, and he started doing great changes. And I asked him afterwards, I said, but tell me something, I don't understand. I mean, how come this was, never done before? And he said, well, nobody asked me the question, how to do it better. So when you ask the question, when you ask questions and really you are willing to listen and to empower people, this is where the magic happens. And this is where you bring a team together and get the best for each individual.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was such a great, yes, I really enjoyed your feedback for this question. So our next question is, what's one trait that all truly impactful leaders have in common? Let's see, what is that feature that all true leaders have in common? Daniel?
Yeah, well, I would go quickly, but I think it's having empathy, having empathy. And what a term which I didn't know is really emotional intelligence. It's listening to people, is really feeling people. And when you are there, when you are in this mode, which really comes more from the heart than from the head, this is what make the big difference.
Yes, Dominykas. Let's answer very short because we have so many questions, so we can.
Well, another trait of that, would be simply persistence. Doing what what has to be done in service of it, no matter the obstacles, no matter what others say, etc. No matter your own personal limitations, fears, etc. Doing all that regardless, and keeping doing that. Yeah, keeping doing that.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, just very quickly, I think there are two things. There's courage to take the right decisions, and then there's empathy so that you bring people along, you explain why you're taking those decisions, and you bring them along with you. And have in mind the explorer Shackleton, who actually brought back all 24 crew members of his failed expedition to the South Pole safely because he managed to take the right decisions. And he kept his people alive, even though it took a year to get them all back to safety. And he kept an eye on the people who were in his crew. So 24 people, and every one of them he monitored and made sure that they were included in decision making, included in discussions, and basically not allowed to wander off and become despairing of their situation, because to any logical mind, having lost your ship in the pack ice and run out of food, logically everyone should have died. But Shackleton managed to bring them all back.
Yes, such a great example. Yes, and as you said, make people part. Yes, that they're important. Yes, that
Yes.
important part of the process. Yes, great. And for me, is values. I think that true impactful leaders, they always have values, and they are leaders because they want to serve people, not because they want fame for themselves or want control. I believe that true leaders really understand that they are given that ability to see big vision, and they can serve more people and impact more people, and this is what true leadership for me. Yes, so let's move to next question. Next question is our segment 2, building and empowering teams. We have 15 minutes for this part, and we have 2 questions here. What's your number 1 strategy for developing high-performing motivated teams? Number 1 strategy to developing high-performing motivated teams. We have Vangelis.
I think we've covered a couple things about this. Is what I've noticed is when people understand what their part or how significant their piece to whatever situation it is, project, whatever you want to call it, it helps them realize they're not just doing a task. Because a lot of projects where I go to that have been stalled, I ask them, do you know what we're doing? And no, I know what I'm supposed to do as an activity, but I don't know where we're going or why I'm doing what I'm doing. So to foster that performance and motivation is when people realize what their activity means to the whole picture, their impact, and making them feel significant. Then people start getting more motivated and involved because they realize I'm actually making a difference. Yes, you are. Your voice matters, your opinions matter, and then you actually incorporate that into the whole scheme. So motivating and getting performance is when people really understand why they're doing what they're doing and their impact.
Thank you. Daniel?
Sorry, Christine, I think you were before me.
That's all right. You go first.
Okay, right. Okay, for me, it's about, about the why, as Vangelis was saying as well. But what's very important as well is recognize that we in a team, everybody has their unique abilities. They have their talents, they have their passions. So it's really fostering on that, you are better at this, you can do that, and making sure that everybody can bring the best of ourselves. So it means as well empowering people. It means giving them autonomy, ownership of their products, and very important as well is feedback in order to, because people, they need to know where they are. So, and feedback, it's constructive. Sometimes there are things to correct, but it's having the courage to do that. And when people know why they are doing things and how they are performing, this is how, where they can give the best of themselves and for the team.
Okay, Christine. Yes.
Yeah, very simply, taking care of your people is taking care of business. So if you look after people's health and well-being, you reduce the absenteeism, you increase productivity, you improve morale and work culture as well. So that helps to develop really good teams. So people don't stress out, so people don't get sick, so people don't take time off, because when people take time off, you may have to put a temporary person in. And if they leave or become unable to work because of their illness or whatever it is they've got, you lose all their expertise, and then you have to replace them and train somebody. So look after your people is the best way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love it. Look after your people. Yes, so powerful. Yes, and Alan?
Yeah, my example would be inclusivity. So, in the context of the 2012 Olympics, the Docklands Light Railway, which is basically a small regional railway where there are driverless trains. There aren't even drivers on the trains. There are just relatively few people involved in maintenance of the railways there. They were inundated by hundreds of people working on projects. I was one of them and my team there. And what Jonathan Fox, the managing director of the Docklands Light Railway, did was he had a weekly team meeting where everyone was invited into the room, large room, and everyone had the ability to listen in on what the leadership's plans were for the forthcoming week and month and so on. And so if anyone had any questions or any comments, they were able to air them in a large forum. But I thought it was very far-sighted of this chap, Jonathan Fox, the managing director, to include all the people who were there temporarily, i.e. the project people, because essentially what had to happen was that while all these projects for improvement were going on, the railway had to run and serve the commuters. And so above all, the railway had to be kept running, and yet they had to facilitate all these major works which were going on as well, all in a very small area of ground, basically. So that I felt that was quite far-sighted of the managing director in that case.
Yes, thank you, Alan. We're moving to the next question. How do you foster trust and alignment within your organization or network? How do you foster trust and alignment within your organization or network? Daniel?
Well, for me, it's about being a role model. It's about walking the talk, being transparent about what we do. And because when we do that, people see that it's not just your words, it's your actions. And yeah, this is my reply.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Dominykas?
Very much the same. In essence, do what you say you're going to do, as and likewise, you know, Yeah, be consistent with that meaning of help your people see from your deeds that you do the same thing, and when it makes sense to do to act the same, and like again acting on your words.
Evangelis?
The more I trust myself, the more I realize it's trusting me. Because if I don't trust myself, I don't trust my thoughts, I don't trust my decisions, it is difficult for other people to trust me. So what I normally help people do is to trust themselves. Be honest with you, because then that permeates and projects out to everyone else. Because when they see that you are confident in you, you trust you, they mirror the trust you have for you, and they mirror that trust.
Yes, know yourself and know why you do this. Yes, why you do this. And this is when we know why. This is what gives us confidence. When we have clarity. Yes, when we have clarity, this is how people know that we know what we are doing. Yes, because it is so difficult to have leader who is in a mess that he doesn't know like himself what he's doing, and he wants to lead other people. So I think this clarity when leaders have, and other people feel that, yes, they feel that they are in peace, they are taken care of, because they know that they're in the right place, and they have somebody who they can lead, like follow and trust. That is very important, comes from confidence and clarity. Yes, and we have Christine. Christine, you are muted.
Yeah, just wanted to say that leaders develop trust. They need to show that they are vulnerable, that they're human. There's not much point trying to cover over something that you don't really know. You need to be vulnerable and admit, yeah, I don't know that. Does anybody else in the team have an idea? Or I will ask somebody else and I will find out and I will get back to you. So it's about being honest, like what Vangelis was saying as well, is knowing yourself and trusting yourself and being happy with yourself, even although it's something you don't know. Being vulnerable, I think, is human and people respect that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes. Very good. And we are moving to segment number 3. We will discuss leading through challenges. This is so good topic. Leading through challenges. And the first question here is, how do you maintain clarity and confidence as a leader during uncertain times? How do you maintain clarity and confidence as a leader during uncertain times? Daniel.
Well, but we know that life happens, issues happens, and particularly when we are leading a team, if there's a problem, we have to show the team that we are there for them. We are here to protect them and to help them. So it's about reminding, looking at these challenges perhaps as opportunities, seeing, okay, what can we make of that? What can we control? What can't we control? And then what is, even with this situation, what is the next step we can take to go in the to, to remedy the situation? So it's really leading where people know that yes, they have somebody who is going to support them, whatever.
Yes, it is so true. Attitude, yes, attitude of embracing challenges. Yes, if we help people to get that attitude that we embrace challenges, yes, challenges are given for us. They're not against us. They're given for us to grow and to find the way and become even a better team, like more, yes, stronger. And this attitude is everything. Yes, everything. When challenges come, this is what can make such a major role. Thank you, Daniel. Vangelis.
You've got two words there: maintain clarity. Communicating, a couple of people have talked about this already, where you have different cultures. There was a guy in London I was working with at the Cisco office, and his job was to scrub all of the videos that came from different countries, because a phrase in this country meant something totally different than a phrase in this country. And a lot of times when we speak, we use terms or phrases that we think other people grasp what we're saying. And so a lot of times it's just, someone mentioned earlier, feedback. All right, what did you guys hear out of this? All right, okay, and now you realize if they really understood what you were saying, and then you could say, okay, how could I say this differently? Or what words or what phrases would I choose? So clarity is communicating and making sure people really understand what you're saying, so that you are getting your point across and not what you think. Because remember, when I speak, you're going to hear it through your filters, through your beliefs, through your experience. And my experience may be totally different. So I might say a word and you will hear it maybe totally different. Thanks.
Yes, when some changes happen, first we have to have clarity that what is the situation. Yes, that everybody are in the same page. Yeah, this is what is going on, and this is where we are moving, and this is how things are. Yes, and this clarity, of course, helps again to overcome difficult situations. Dominykas?
All right, so also what comes to mind is again maintain this clarity in terms of the vision itself, and you know, especially if you happen to be you know, working with others, leading others, and then you know, also help your people you know, remember the overall vision, you know, why we're doing this to begin with, you know, especially in, you know, in the times of a challenge. And you know, and also, you know, especially when it happens that you know, on the level of fact, you know, there might not seem to be much you know, prospect for you know, for positivity, but this is where, you know, being able to lean on the shall we say, invisible side of ourselves, you know, the infinite God, whatever you prefer to call it, comes in most handy. Meaning that you on, you know, in your human experience might not be able to see how you can weather the situation, but there is a way, and you know, the infinite knows it, and thus what you're left with, you know, at that time is to trust it, and then take a step, something that you can do.
Yes, thank you. And we have Christine.
Yeah, in times of you know, challenges, it can be quite stressful. So being able to remain calm and have the emotional intelligence to keep an even temperament and an even emotional level will help to influence your team. Being able to step back and look at it in an objective way is really important, so that you're not actually caught up in the emotion of it. Because when you feel stressed or triggered, you're not going to make your best decisions. And when your team leaders see that you're calm and in control, it helps them to remain calm and in control as well. That means everybody's going to work better together.
Yes, and I also wanted to mention about confidence as a leader during uncertain times. I believe that confidence gives us when we see the bigger picture and we are not very attached to current situation. This ability to be detached from current situation and those challenges and problems, and see this like our goal, where we are moving, instead of being just in these current problems totally, as to see where we are going, why we are going there, and understanding that big picture and being there most of the time, instead of being in all time in problems and be scared or having doubt. Yes, it is all about vision and the strength, and also believing that we creating our results in our mind. The power of mind is very important. If we give people this belief that they can do so much more than they can see with their vision, I mean with their physical eyes, when people stay in that picture of in their future and see what they create already, yes, what they create, it gives that confidence and they are unstoppable. Yes, there can be many problems, but when you really can make the team, when people support each other and have that big vision and stay there in future and moving through challenges, it will help also to maintain that confidence. Our next question, can you share a defining challenge you faced as a leader and how you turned it into success? Yes, share please, challenge as a leader and how you turned it into success. Till you thinking what to share, I can share with you our experience with organizing our first public event in Portsmouth, which we had last weekend. Yes, we had 2 months when we decided organize event, and my partner, my business partner Roxy, she offered to do event in her city, that was Portsmouth. And after we decided and put announcement, she got sick. She got sick, and she was 2 weeks in the hospital between life and death, because she got in brain, she got some infection, and she was in very intensive therapy. And what, as a leader, what I would do in that situation, of course, one thought is just cancel everything. Yes, like it is force majeure. I'm not in Portsmouth. I don't know anybody in Portsmouth, and we just have to cancel, right? This is like something that comes to mind. And then you say no. You decided to do event, so you have to do event, and you already said people that we are going to do that. So this really, I discovered so much in us. First, Roxy being between this treatment in this intense care and inspiring people in the chat, like telling me that she's in such a pain, and then seeing her inspiring people in the chat and sending smiles there. So it's, I learned so much about her, about this resilience, that I don't know if I could be in her place, if I could do that. So that she did everything what she could do. And at the end, some of you were at this event, and till the last moment it was so many challenges, so many challenges. Even the last day going to the event, I burnt my lip with the hot coffee, because I, again, she called me, I heard something, and I just sip this hot boiled coffee, which I just put in the in flask. So it was like, this event was all the challenges from the beginning till the end. And before the event, the night from 8 to 9, when we had event, in the night my mother called and she said she cannot breathe. All the night I was with the doctors, and we put her in hospital. I mean, I was on phone because my mother doesn't speak English. So the doctors, all this process. So, and in the morning I had to do event. And we did it in such a high energy. And this is all what we heard from you feedback, the high energy, positiveness, motivation. We were there with Roxy. So, yes, so it is like really, sometimes when you look at this, nobody knows what is going behind the curtains. And some people say, oh, like this is people successful. It is like lucky people, successful people. But nobody really knows that there is no luck. There is just a work, determination, consistency, and just being bold, not just accepting anything that doesn't work, deciding that you're doing it the way at the high standards, and you just do what you can, and this is how we succeed and how we win in all situations. So this is for me leadership. Just shared with you what came to my mind recently. So Christine. Thank you,
Yeah.
Daniel. Yes, and Daniel, of course, Daniel was very supportive. Thank you, Daniel, for everything you did also for this event to be successful, because you were part of it from the very first day. Yes, sorry,
Awesome.
Christine.
Yep, no worries. Yes, in my business when I had my business in Sydney, this person that I had engaged to work in my business, I'd given her clients to look after, and I heard her one day from my office referring the customer I had worked hard to get for her. I heard her saying, oh, go and see this chiropractor and say that Susan sent you. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's referring people out of my business. And I spent money advertising for these people. So I was ropeable. I was really angry with this woman. And I wanted to run out there and say, how dare you? And I'm thinking, I can't do that because that would embarrass the customer. It wouldn't be very nice to see me flying out there all angry and everything. So I bit my tongue. I stayed in my office and I rang somebody that I knew in business. He'd been in business for 40 years. And I rang Sid and I said, Sid, this is what's happened. And he said, don't let her know that you know. What you do is you get her in tomorrow and you tell her, sorry, I've got no more work for you. I'll have to let you go, because she was only like a consultant, like subcontracted. So I could let her go, but I did it in a nice way. And I so wanted to tell her what I knew and how bad she was. But Sid had told me, no, you'll make yourself an enemy. So there are times when you have to bite your tongue as a leader and handle it in a way that is just more conducive to pleasantness rather than create friction.
Yes, very wise advice.
It was wise, yeah.
Very wise advice, really.
Mm.
Because what you saved yourself emotions. You didn't get involved in the conflict which you didn't create, and you didn't need that. Yes, so
yes, I could step back from it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, this is exactly leadership position, when you are not act just by those automatic reactions. Yes, like all those programs, like, oh, let me say that, how you dare. And then you step back and you cool down, and then you say, okay, how I want to respond. Yes, instead of how I want to respond now. And as it is so wise, it is I lived in the East many years, so it is this come from East, right? Like, I think your friend had some background in East, because yes, this is how they're very wise. They observe situation, they make conclusions, and they don't tell you immediately. They think what is the best response, and this is how they respond, and this is what to do. And you protect yourself. You don't get into that negative emotions when you say something, and then you start thinking, why I said that, and now this is all negative emotions, and that person do something else. Yes, you just step out and you take the right action. Yes, you take the right action, and you keep yourself safe, and with your safe, your positive, good energy, and of course, you learn lessons. Yes, you learn lessons in future. So again, embrace challenges, embrace positive, negative situation, because you can learn so much, and it can serve you in future. Great. So, Suzette.
management for being a leader. And I just wanted to sum this all up. It's putting other people first. It's putting your team first. And it's asking them and trusting them in when events come up that are like we had, for example, the city of Las Vegas, and I worked in municipal court, and we had a failure of one of our financial systems, and it was in the middle of the day. And I had written policies and procedures on how to fix it, but I hadn't been the one to fix it. The supervisor was, or the manager was the one that fixed these items when things failed. And when he went out for back surgery, I was in charge. So when the system failed, I had to make the decisions and get the thing up and running. So I was able to use the procedures, but then also I pulled the team together and I said, hey, this is what's going on. And this is the issue that we have. And one of them was saying, no, you can never fix this. You can't. And then others are saying, oh, I'm glad you let us know. And so I had the team and everyone contribute their thoughts to the process. So they felt valued because they were asked. And I think that's really important to bring your team in and ask some questions, because that shows trust also, that you trust their opinion and their work. And so that's what I did. And then I went ahead and solved the problem, but then I kept everybody informed because they're part of the team. So I think it's putting them first and totally keeping them informed and valuing their opinion and their thoughts and their knowledge, because they had a lot more time in the office than I did. I was pretty new to the office when I ended up taking over the leadership. So it was I just really believe that, and that works every time. Putting the people first, asking their opinion, and valuing what they have to say.
Yes, thank you so much. Let's move to the next question because we have another segment. So I really want us to cover more questions. The next question is, what mindset keeps you steady and resilient when leading through obstacles? Yes, let's speak about leadership mindset. Vangelis.
I really appreciate you sharing your story about the event, Elena, because I appreciate so much stuff because I've been involved in a lot of things. And I know what it takes to do things. So when people go, oh, it was okay, I said, you've never done this before. So because the stuff that you went through, Elena, I mean, it was just empowering just to listen to it. And while you're going through it, it doesn't always seem so pleasant, but it's also something that Dominykas was sharing earlier too, is that when people talk about mindset, for decades, people would say, oh, you're always in your head. I didn't know what that meant. I had no clue because I was in my head. And then finally, I had several people that mentored me into getting into my heart so that I would not make decisions just by figuring things out, but actually from my heart. And so when they talk about mindset, what keeps you steady, you had a belief system, and people, when they go through obstacles, I know they say, oh, it's just an opportunity. Yeah, that doesn't help me when people say that phrase. But when I look at things and say, okay, there's something in this for me and for everyone else, and then I go into my heart, and then I'm able to expand, and the energy and all that stuff helps. So for me, the mindset is to look at it from a different perspective and to really appreciate all the people that are working with you and appreciate all the things that are happening, because there was a phrase, life happens for you, and if I take it a next step further, life happens through you.
Yes, so true, so true. This is such a great attitude. Life happens for you, and when we have this attitude, we just see everything, and we just think what I can learn, why is this given to me, how I can grow from this situation, and you are unstoppable, because when we understand this ability to accept or reject an idea, it is so powerful. Anything idea we can reject or accept, and this is what I learned from my mentor Bob Proctor. So if when we just think like, okay, this idea comes and I have choice to reject it, and I can choose to think what I want to think. So this is exactly what was going on. Like initially, we had to pay to that hotel deposit for the all 50 people guests, for their lunches, for their drinks, everything already we paid in the beginning. And then Roxy got sick, and then we got 12 speakers 12 speakers, and then we had speakers and we didn't have no audience. So it is like one task after another task. And what helped me in that situation, another very good lesson which I learned again from Proctor, that focus on outcome you want. This is so massive. Focus on outcome. And I was telling myself, focus on outcome I want. What I want. I have to think about that, only what I want. I shouldn't think about what I don't want. And this is such a big difference. Yes, when leaders, they think what they want. Yes, everything can just collapse. But still in their head, they think about what they want. What is the outcome? And this is so powerful. When this is, you can go through all the challenges with this mindset. When you know what you want, see it as you want, and everything else will just start building on itself. And another thing also is belief. Believe and have faith. Yes, believe in yourself and have faith in God, and that everything will come as it have to be. And all these challenges are given for you for the reason, because you will become who you meant to be through them. Yes, Daniel.
Yeah, well, oh, yes. So first of all, I'd just like to come back to what Suzette was saying. You see about, keeping people informed always. And when we do that afterwards, you see, when we're in difficult situations, what happens is that we are going to get support as well. I mean, and perhaps Elena, you were mentioning it. It's and so important is to surround ourselves as well, with the right individuals, with people you can trust, you can rely on. And it takes time to build these relationships. But then when you do this, it's because I realize in life we cannot do things just on our own. Sometimes we think we are super people, supermen or women, but we can't. It's really about sharing, about bringing people together who have the same objectives, and people as well, which will, assist you in this, when times is tough. But the great thing is when we experience things like that together, afterwards, and when we overcome these obstacles, the bond is much bigger. I mean, it's like we've lived through something. I've got goosebumps when I'm saying this, it's, you really do that. And afterwards, wow, despite everything, this happened. And this gives so much confidence to move forward, to move to the next goal. You're on mute, Elena.
Yes, very good. Let's now move to our next question. Yes, because we have a few. Yes, so we have two questions left. So let's just quickly refer to them. What is the single most valuable leadership lesson you've learned on your journey? What is the single most valuable leadership lesson you've learned on your journey? Who would like to share? Dominykas.
It's humility, meaning willingness to admit, your own mistakes, not just to yourself, but also to to your own people, the ones who have trusted you to lead them to success in whatever sense, and yes, meaning that you become vulnerable in front of them, and you give you and through this vulnerable, yeah, and by virtue of being vulnerable with them, you grant them an opportunity to again choose whether they want to be led by you or not, and once they again choose to forgive you and trust you again, it's one of the most empowering and humbling experiences.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things in my journey is to keep an open mind about what you might be able to achieve. So especially this applies when you have never done it before, and it's believing that you're going to give it a go and that you're going to do your best. And like you said before, you have it in your mind what you want the outcome to be. But it's not just wanting that outcome, it's actually giving yourself the space and the opportunity to grow into it.
Yes, I like how you said grow into that. It is so true. Yes, it is not about goals. It is about the growth. All big goals are given to us to grow. And this is why all these challenges come, because they come exactly to help you grow. Yes, otherwise, if everything is good, we never grow. We grow when we face challenges, when we are in such a situation that we start discovering something new about ourselves, which we were not even which we didn't know about. And this is how this growth and self-discovery happens. Daniel. Daniel, you're muted. What is the single most valuable leadership lesson
Yeah,
you...
yes. I was muted. Yeah. For me, it's about letting people know that you believe in them, even if they don't believe in themselves. If people doubt themselves, but if you can guide them, if you can encourage them, and if you can be of service, this is for me what great leaders are.
Thank you so much. Alan, what is for you most valuable leadership lesson?
Yes, that's quite a difficult one because in my experience, massive projects are very complex and they entail a lot of collaboration from lots of different groups of people. There could be thousands of people in different countries who are led by their own leaders who guide their contribution to projects. And I think that the major lesson I've learned, I saw one leader who I admired very much actually failed to deliver on one project. He had a lot of successes on subsequent projects, and then eventually there was one where the board who directed that project decided that he hadn't fulfilled what he was there to do, so they moved him to the side, and I saw him interviewed, and he was quite humble in explaining what the reason for this project failure was, and he wouldn't actually blame anybody, but he explained that the team as a whole had failed. So what he was really saying was he hadn't attempted to find any scapegoat, but he, as the team leader, was standing down because the team hadn't been congruent enough to succeed in delivering that venture. I mean, it was the Elizabeth line, which is a massive, complex project in the UK, and would challenge anybody. But I thought it was quite notable, quite typical of him, that he was humble, that he had attempted to do this, but he hadn't managed to pull it off. But he wasn't trying to find a scapegoat at all.
Yes, thank you so much. And for me, lessons I would like to say it is making decisions. How to make decisions. This is another thing what I learned from Bob Proctor, that make decisions without knowing how you will get that. It is so powerful. To achieve any goal, it should be big goal, and you don't need to know how. This is so important. You make bold decision, and you just start doing what you can do now, what you can do tomorrow, and this is how you will get to your big goal. Yes, without knowing And so you don't need to drain energy and plan because you don't know how it will happen. It can happen so different that you would never think about. But to make first step, you have to make decision. Yes, this is for me. And the last question for today: what advice would you give to rising leaders who want to create a meaningful, lasting impact? What advice would you give to rising leaders who want to create a meaningful, lasting impact? And our rising leader, Dominykas.
Well, the very first thing is to define the the long-lasting impact that you would love to make, and by that I mean get into the details of what it looks like, does it sound like, what are you doing, with whom, how does it feel, just as important, the feeling. Yeah, how does it feel to have this accomplished? No, in essence, creating a vision for the change. That's that goes a very long way towards actually change.
Yes, very good. Yes, so create a vision. Yes, create a vision and get there in your mind first. Very good, Daniel.
So for me, first of all, is do something you are really passionate about, because life is going to be tough sometimes. So something you really do every day. Be authentic and never give up. Never give up.
Yes, so true. Never give up. Yes, be authentic and never give up. Christine?
Yes, is to always be prepared to learn and be coachable, and to stay true to yourself and authentic, as Daniel said.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this discussion. So let's just take 5 minutes to exchange what takeaways we took from this time which we spent together.
I'm going to speak up because I have to get off of the call, but I really appreciate all of you for your thoughts and your opinions. And, I'm hearing it from a different, from like a UK perspective in a way. And I'm looking at things from a US perspective. And there's definitely differences on management, but there's a lot of similarities too, as far as what I'm hearing. This is amazing. So my final take is thank you so much for your thoughts, because it's nice to hear a refreshing approach to leadership and management. I know what I do was with my career was working really well with people, but I appreciate you all for your thoughts.
Yes, thank you so much. And we are international team here. We have Christine from Australia. Daniel is French. Vangelis in Costa Rica, Dominykas is in Lithuania, and I'm also Ukrainian. And Alan is also Serbia, yes?
No, I've got a company in Slovenia.
Slovenia.
So, yes, international.
Yes,
But
so
yes, I spent most of my life living in the UK.
yes, yes. So we're international team. Some of us live in UK, and we happy to share and meet each other regularly to discuss different topics. And we have also other members of the Circle of Fame. So you're most welcome to join us on regular basis. Yes, Daniel. Yes, Daniel. Would you like to share your takeaway?
Yeah, I will share quickly. Like Suzette was saying, it's really about sharing our perspectives and learning from others, and becoming every time better leaders. Remembering that what we do is not for us, it's about serving others and wanting people to thrive.
Thank you so much. Great. Yes. Anything else?
Yeah.
Alan. Yes, Alan.
Yeah, I think if you're going to have a lasting impact, you should have big goals. And there are plenty of challenges in the world. And imagine if you could actually solve the problem of famine in many countries, and imagine if you could solve the problem of homelessness. I sometimes think that people are bogged down with the problems in their own countries, and in a way that's good because there's a sort of safety and security. But I think the world is quite small, and there's an impact of problems in other countries, and we can't all say, well, it's nothing to do with me because I'm in this tiny little country here and that's far away. You have to take a bit of ownership of what's going on in the world and try to contribute in whatever way you can to solving those problems.
Yes, exactly. This is what we all are doing here. And Vangelis will resume our event today before we say everyone goodbye.
Sure.
Yes.
It's you can clearly see that none of these things is one answer. It's not like this is the answer, because every one of us, even though we're all equal in terms of we're all, brilliant and stuff and spirit and spiritual, we all have our unique journeys. So some of us have different experiences and we bring those to it and make this opportunity richer.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for participating in our panel discussion. And we're looking forward to see you again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Elena. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Elena.
have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so
Very
much,
well.
Elena, and everyone.
Fantastic event again.
Bye.
Thank you, Elena.
Yeah, you're
Bye, everyone.
welcome. Bye-bye.